Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Rad, and we're going to look into the lunar eclipse, the corridor of eclipses, someone may say, although um, it kind of looks, gonna put it into words, special. You know, you do have a solar eclipse, and then 2 weeks later, a lunar eclipse, but that is how astronomy works, really. After a solar eclipse, 2 weeks later, you do have nothing else but a lunar eclipse. So you might call it a corridor of eclipses, but some astrologers, I'm not saying that it isn't special, I'm just saying that some astrologers doesn't find it special. It is just my, and I put it into words, small research on the matter. Nonetheless, we do have a lunar eclipse happening on the 28th of October, so 2 days from now at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's happening in Taurus, 5 degrees and 9 minutes. For those of you who do care about the degree, and the moon then becomes new at the November 13th, my birthday, in fact, and it is in Scorpio, which is my star sign as well. So I guess that's going to be a hell of a year for me, but there are a couple of weeks up until that point. In any case, first thing that we're going to do, that is going to be the collective reading. And just give me a second here. The first thing that we're going to do is the collective reading. And if you looked at the thumbnail, you would have saw the cards there. I'm going to show them to you anyway. So the first card for the collective, that is the 9 of Wands, followed by the second card, which is the Page of Cups. Then the third, that is going to be the Ace of Cups. The fourth card, that is the Five of Cups. And the fifth card, that is the Seven of Pentacles. And the additional card to the Page of Cups here, that will be the Ten of Pentacles. So we do have that elemental dignity, which is a passive friend. All right, so long story short, within this transit, so to speak, within this phase of the moon, that ingression of the moon, according to my tarot cards, we are going to be presented with an opportunity to fill up what is missing within the lives we have. So some of us may be missing a job, others may be missing a career overall, for what I know, right? Others may be missing just a nice attitude, friends, love life, you name it. And throughout the progression of the ingression itself, there are going to be numerous occasions under or through which we are going to be able to readjust our behavior, readjust our schedule. You know, if you will, it could be as well readjusting our priorities or goals, targets. Some of us even may go as drastic as even dreams. And exactly these readjustments are going to bring the opportunities to fill up the spots or the places in our lives which are empty up until this point. it could be just hobbies as well. You know, it doesn't have to be something drastic. But bottom line here is that this lunar eclipse is truly going to fill up a spot in our hearts which is empty one or another way. And when I say empty, I mean that previously it could be 2 weeks ago, it could be 2 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago as well. You know, for different individuals, it's going to be a different time period. But my point is that within the past, we happen to be very disappointed of that exact prospect or that exact field. For example, you know, if you are disappointed from your love life and you believe that, you know, for example, you're never going to find love, it's very likely that that's what's going to happen. Or you may be disappointed of your job, your business, your career development, and you may believe thus far that, you know, there is no making it happen. And it is likely that that is exactly what's going to happen. So a place that we lost faith and hope into, that it is within our hearts, is going to be filled up back again. And nothing is going to look the same when looked through that overflowing joy. Another thing it is that, and that is a very important lesson, and this lesson comes from the Five of Cups, which is on the 4th position of the spread, that card, is that we're going to learn not to regret previous choices for one or another reason. For example, timing, for example, circumstances, environment, if you will. But we're going to learn to accept that at the given time, with the given resources, with the given circumstances, we did the right thing, or we took the right choice for us at this given time. And finally, for what's going to help us throughout this particular cycle, it is that just every involvement is gonna worth it. Every friendship we make, every approach we undertake, okay, or every action we exert in one or another, or everything we say as well, it's gonna worth it one way or another. What we should guard ourselves from throughout this particular transit is reliability. We should not rely on people because of the Page of Cups on the 2nd position with the 10 of Pentacles. Let me show it to you here. Okay, these two cards. That kind of shows that everyone is going to be more, can I put it into words, self-absorbed, for a lack of better expression. And everyone will have that affinity to go independent. So we happen to rely on on one or another. And at certain points throughout the undertaking will happen that they go independent. And then, you know, the whole thing may crumble if the reliability is way too high. So throughout the next couple of weeks, especially when it comes to personal deeds, it's better to rely first and foremost on ourselves rather than to expect that someone else is going to do the job for us. And that is the collective reading. So a few notes about the show now before I go forward. There are going to be 12 readings, and each one of them is going to be for each star sign, starting from Aries, ending up with Pisces, and they are readings for the star signs. Bear that in mind, meaning that they are going to affect you and relate to you to a certain extent, but very seldom they happen to be the direct answers to the questions and the situations that you may have. So consider those readings as a guidance to an information that is going to open your eyes, show you options available in front of you, okay? But if you do want to know specifically about the situations you are going through, and you wish to have a personal reading with me, you can go to my website, which link you're going to find in the description down below. And there at the very front page, you can see a full list of my services and as well their pricing. And if you do enjoy the show and you wish to support us, you can do so through either Super Chat or PayPal. A link of the PayPal you're going to find in the description down below. And anyone who supports the show, you guys are going to have a reading at the end of the stream. That's guaranteed. So with that said, you can track which star sign I'm reading for by observing the glyph that just appeared on my right hand side over here. And before I go for Aries, Yasmin, thank you for the $20 PayPal. Thank you, Yasmin. The end of the stream, as usual, you're going to have your personalized reading. What the lunar eclipse is going to be for you personally. All right, so let's check now Aries. Seven of Swords, Six of Swords, Two of Cups, Knight of Swords, King of Cups, which is catalyzed by the Nine of Swords. Nancy, thank you for the $20. Thank you, Nancy. At the end of the stream, you will have your personalized reading. Let me put you into a list. All right. Well, it seems that these 2 weeks for you, Aries, are going to be weeks which are going to address, as far as you know, the lunar eclipse, I'm sorry, is going to be the weeks where a precarious situations you are finding yourself into are going to be addressed, for a lack of better expression. And within those precarious situations, few things. Now, first, it is that the whole circumstances, everything, why, where, when, you know, where it's coming from, is going to be kind of like, let's call it that way, revealed. Not exactly revealed, because for what it seems, it is that you are going to reach to those conclusions, okay? And this information will allow you actually to extract from these precarious situations, whether love life, within your love life, I mean, or whether in your career, so to extract from them. I can't really say the maximum, it's more like the maximum you deserve, for a lack of better expression here. So within these couple of weeks, any mistreatment you suffered, okay, any deprivation, any lowball that will be, at least according to these cards, that is going to be fixed. But it is important not to hold any grudge. That is, with the Two of Cups here into the third position, that is important to be your attitude and your behavior. So even if you do have to gnash your teeth, you should maintain, maybe balanced is the word that I should use here, but more or less a peaceful attitude in peaceful relationships with the people around you, with your colleagues, friends, within the social circle, neighbors, if you will, and as well loved ones. And from those precarious situations, what is going to make the startup here is some kind of an offer which is going to come your way. And this person or this entity who is going to give you the offer that will allow you to actually take off, for lack of better expression here, there are going to be consequences for them if you mess it up. And that's why it's important not to use that energy, this impulse, that momentum for revenge, but instead you should use it to take yourself off the ground and just improve your personal state, improve your personal situation. And what you shouldn't do, at least according to these cards, definitely is give up, because there will be that tendency to just not exactly abandon or walk away, but switch from one interest to another, from one person to another, from one goal to another. And that's, according to these cards, the very least, this is going to slow you down. It will slow down your improvement. All right. Next. Come on, Taurus. Three of Cups. The Empress. Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. The Devil. All right, this isn't that much of a convincing or subduing those around you, more than showing the benefits of. Bottom line is that in those couple of weeks which are marked by the lunar eclipse here, more and more are going to flock to you. More and more are going to see the things, the future, as you do see it. For example, more and more colleagues of yours are going to start sharing your vision over the project, over the deed, over the task. You know, more and more friends are going to start seeing the situation as you do see it. And of course, the big benefit is that if you do have a person of interest, you know, or you're involved, you know, in love relationship, these cards very strongly suggests that the partner you have or the person of interest you do have, more and more are going to start seeing the future together as you do see it. Anna, thank you for the $20. Thank you, Anna. At the end of the stream, you will have your personalized reading. And that is why it's important not to drop the ball, because dropping the ball means shitting the bed. Okay, changing of opinion. And under changing of opinion, I don't know how to explain it. Give me a second here. Hesitance, maybe, where the endeavor is ongoing, the enterprise is ongoing, and at some point you do say, I gotta think about it, let's put a hold for now and just kind of like reevaluate. That is, at least according to these cards, that is a wrong status, adoption of stance. I don't know how to explain it, because you already gave a signal. You already gave a signal that you like someone. You already gave a signal that you want the job. You already gave a signal that you want the involvement, or that you don't want them, whatever the signal you gave. And according to these cards, you gotta roll with it here. Otherwise, nothing. I mean, it's that there is going to be no movement, neither forward nor backwards from the whole thing. And you may think that this is a conviction, like you have convinced, those around you, but it isn't. Actually, what happened, it is that you gave what these people need: reassurance, opportunity, reliability, whatever they need. And because you gave what they need, you now have the ultimate influence over the situation, over the project, over the relationship, over the friendship, or over the enterprise. And you get to say where that enterprise is gonna go. So basically now, or at least within those couple of weeks, Taurus, it is your vision that will matter. It is your vision on the future that's gonna matter, and people will follow you into it. That's a good one. All right, next, Gemini. The Strength, Knight of Wands. Hello, Yalabi. Page of Cups. Three of Swords. Ten of Wands. Thank you, Tsako. Happy Halloween to you too. Thank you for the $22.22. Thank you, Tsako. Let me put you into a list. All right, to the Knight of Wands, the Lovers. That is the card to the Knight of Wands. And how do you call that? I do believe that in English you do have a specific term when you are guilt pressed. Like, people, at least they are going to try, or one in particular here, Knight of Wands with the Lover's card. So that could be a person, or it could be an entity, again, say the job. So these people are going to press you to contribute for, how can I put it into words, their harmony instead of yours, because the harmonies are going to be conflicted. And in these cases, the first thing in my mind, relationship in between a child and a parent. The parent wants the child to contribute for the harmony of the family, while the child wants to contribute for their own harmony. Okay, something similar as well, but it doesn't have to be the relationship in between a parent and a child here. It's just there is going to be either that individual or an entity that will guilt press you to live up your your interests, because for interest it is what we are talking about here, to forlorn everything you care for and invest in their enterprise, because that's what we're talking about. We do have an enterprising individual or an entity that wants your efforts instead of invested in your interests in theirs. And you should not cave. That's literally what we have here. You should not cave and take responsibility first and foremost towards yourself rather than toward everyone around you. Important thing to keep in mind is that if you do identify that a certain target or a certain goal is worth it, remember, you do not owe explanation to anyone. Okay, you identify that that thing is worth it, so you go for it. Whomever supports you, that's great. Whoever doesn't, that's even better. At least they're not going to be involved in any way in it. And you shouldn't feel guilty that you are going for something that's it's important for you and ultimately is going to make your life better and as well happier. That is what's coming up for you, Gemini, into these couple of weeks. And you should know that the change is nigh, a good change is nigh, and a lot of things are going to shift your positions, your relationships, your perception in general. Some people that you do see now nice and friendly, after this transition you are going to see not that nice and friendly, and vice versa. That is just for example. Okay, but the point is that your opinions, your position, to a certain extent, to a large extent, is going to change after these couple of weeks. All right, next, Cancer. Ten of Cups, Two of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles, Death. Hello, astrology. YouTube doesn't show your here your full nickname. Thank you for the 1999. Of course, you're gonna have a reading at the end. That's pretty much guaranteed for anyone who supports the stream. Astrology H, it is what I'm gonna call you, because YouTube doesn't show your full nickname here. But yeah, at the end of the stream, you will have your reading. So, for Cancer, it's more of a spiritual experience that this full new moon, full moon, I'm sorry, lunar eclipse was I wanted to say under the new moon. So the full moon is going to represent for you. And under spiritual, I mean, because there is going to be a realization here, and the realization is going to be okay. So it is you, Pisces moonbeam. Okay. So you will realize, Cancer, that there isn't anything more to it. That is what you have to work with. There isn't anything more to happen. There isn't anything more to find out. There isn't anything more to decide. And pretty much, you know, whatever potential you can grow with the current means or with the current person, I am saying, because, you know, that could be about someone you met, right? You may think that this individual is going to change. They're going to start working more or working better or behave better, change somehow. Well, within these couple of weeks, and that is just for example, within this couple of weeks, you are going to see that there isn't anything more into it. I mean, that's that, and that is something, if you wish to adopt as a possession, that is something you have to work with. Now, because there isn't anything more into it, that doesn't mean that it cannot be polished. It can, and there is a lot of room and margin from it. Okay. But in order for you to reach its full potential, whether to the friendship you're in, or the job you're in, or the endeavor, or the relationship, it will require a change of your own personal lifestyle. So, long story short here, guys, if you want things to get better in situations that you may wish more, that more has to come from you. That is what the realization is going to be. Whether you decide to push into that direction or not, though, it's entirely up to you. You could simply walk away. Right. Next, Leo. The Emperor. Four of Cups. King of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. Page of Wands. Six of Swords to the Page of Wands. It's the real deal, guys. It's the real deal. I swear, what I'm talking about here is that this is the moment where things get serious. This is the moment where what's going to be required is you presenting yourself strong and reliable, okay, in order to secure what is chased, because some of you are chasing money, others are chasing growth, third are chasing love, right? And in order to secure what you are chasing, or in other words, the real deal, this is what's going to be required. Your representation or your manifestation on a as a reliable and strong individual. In other words, that is the moment where you are showing that you are the real deal, that you are the person for the job. That there isn't anyone other better than you, and you can definitely do it, okay? But going forward with excuses, okay, slacking, for example, let me check on what else. As well, hoping for a better circumstances. That is also something like people are gonna see you as a person who always seeks the easy way through, okay? That isn't particularly an option available. What is going to be expected from you, Leo, is to invest, okay? Invest whether emotions, whether finances, whether skills, whatever the situation is that you want to find yourself involved into. That is the moment of your leap forward. That is the moment of your leap in development. And according to these cards, in order things to happen, you got to give it all you got. So yeah, it's huge for you. I mean, this lunar eclipse is huge for you. That is the decisive moment. That this is the exam, if you will, that you are going to be tested under. Are you reliable enough or capable enough? It is now that you show. All right, next, Virgo. The star. Death. Two of Wands. Page of Swords. Page of Pentacles. Oops. The Eight of Pentacles. It is to the Page of Pentacles card. It's a pretty short reading for Virgo. It's just and it's quite trivial though. It's just things that are going to get better, guys. I mean, wherever you are, it's not even predicaments, ruin. Wherever you are facing ruin, you may be facing ruin in your love life or into your career, or just state of life in general. But what these cards are showing is that in whichever field you are facing ruin, this lunar eclipse is going to put a stop on that ruin. And of course, with that stop, of course, you are going to have that opportunity to make improvements in there, but there is going to be another person involved as well, okay? And that person is very devoted and dedicated to your improvements. So the way I think of it, it is that probably it's a very good friend of yours, family member, someone that really, really cares for you, and it is ready to give it all for what we can, or for what I can see here. So what is important is to stay true to yourself, and I put it into words, I hope for your improvement's sake that this ruin you went through didn't change you, and you remain the same person that you were beforehand, and you maintain your, not just only your personality, but also your kindness that you usually have. And in fact, what I think now that I look at that Page of Swords here into the 4th position, it is that this the halt, or rather like the stop of that ruin, is going to be because of the involvement of that person, because the lesson of the Page of Swords, it is that there is always help, there is always a source that we can use in order to fix things, in order to improve things, or in order to get out, depending on, you know, what kind of a situation you're in. Even that source may happen to be, I'm sorry, the most unexpected one. Okay, so that is the lesson that you, Virgo, are going to learn, and that's why I think that's the very start, the very reason of this ruin being stopped. It is the involvement of that individual whom is hugely devoted to your well-being. All right, next, Libra. Four of Swords, the Empress, the Strength, Knight of Pentacles, the Fool. Give me a second. It's blockages, or rather the lack thereof, rather. So it seems that whatever stops you, the lunar eclipse is going to make it go away, probably only for those couple of weeks. Whatever stops you buying a house, for example, whatever stops you chasing a dream or going for a job, you know, or just going out with the person you want to, again, is going to go away. And you should use that time, or at least that's, you know, what the cards are suggesting here. But if you do decide to go for it, it's important to maintain rather simplistic approach than going forward with sophisticated plans. and having to chain a lot of things to go through and to happen properly in order, manifestation here to take place. So there are going to be many ways how to go about it, many ways how to go about the project, the job, the interaction, you name it, depending on what you are after here. But you need to choose the most simple one. Usually it is the longest path. It is the longest path to the job, to the success, to the heart of the person. But it's going to be the true one, because here isn't about, how can I put it into words? Here isn't about a one night stand, let's say. Here is about a forging a partnership. And thus, you ain't gonna have any time to waste in terms of activity. So you gotta become active right away when you see that the blockage is off. And that is what the lunar eclipse is gonna do for you guys. Just is going to take down blockages, stops, things which are holding you back. Of course, they're going to be different for each one of you because we are in different situations. But again, whatever stops you of buying a home, going for the promotion, asking for a raise, or just asking someone out is going to be gone for these couple of weeks at least. So make do. All right. Let's see what we have now, Scorpio. Five of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, the Strength, Eight of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, That's so risky. That will be a transit of huge improvements. I don't know how well. How do I go about it? It's allowance. Okay. For some, it's going to be right away. For others, halfway through. But at some point, every single Scorpio is going to be in a point of a total allowance. It's just everything is going to be allowed. Okay. And that's going to be the point where we may end up being shooting ourselves in the foot. Okay. And overextension, overreach, overstaying the welcome, it is what truly can bring us down. And for that reason, two things. First is going to be the sense of, I don't want to say comfortability, it's more of the sense of what is right and wrong is going to be very keen. And although, you know, the situations we are going to be involved into, we can kind of like drink with a full fistfuls of ours, drink from life, that is. Something within ourselves is going to say that that's not right, and we got to listen to it. And if that fail switch doesn't work, well, then there is going to be an individual around us who is going to point to us that we are at the wrong place with the wrong people, or at the wrong place with the wrong circumstances, or at the wrong place at the wrong time. And it is important to listen to them. If we don't, if we kind of like ignore those two fail switch, then it's overinvestment, a huge loss, humiliation. So while within these couple of weeks we are going to be allowed a lot, and we can go for a lot, and we can accomplish a lot, there is a limit. There is a limit to what is acceptable. Okay, there is a limit to how much we can handle, and we have to keep up to that limit. So if you will, it's a skating on a thin ice. The reward is going to be good, right? But we shouldn't put too much weight on it, because then the ice is going to crack. So hopefully each one of us is going to walk away unscathed. I don't know what to say else. But dangerous, dangerous times. Okay. Sagittarius. Death. The Magician. Page of Cups. Nine of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. So it's there is a good and a bad news. So let's start with the bad one first. Usually people start with the good one, but I'm going to start with the bad one, because Pisces Moonbeam once told me, you know, you always have to end up in a positive spin. So the bad news, it's unlikely that things are going to work out right away, because at this current stage, there is a, can I put it into words? That Magician into the second position, it means two things. Either unfavorable circumstances, or in other words, you are a victim of the circumstances, okay? Or a lack of compatibility. Whether the skills doesn't match, whether the knowledge doesn't match, or, you know, whether the vision for the future doesn't match. It's just something isn't matching. Whether with the job, you know, whether, I don't know, with the friendship, just whatever the situation you're in. So that's the bad news for Sagittarius. The good news, it is that this can be fixed, and that's why we do have the Death card. There are things which you have to give up of, or give up from. And so this improvement, it's just according to these cards, gotta come from you. And it's a lesson that's you gotta learn here with the Nine of Swords into the fourth position. That is when someone kind of like faces the, how can I put it into words? Well, it's either facing the fears that you do have or either facing the consequences that you are into. And through that, accepting them and giving up of hobbies, okay? For example, and I will give an example with myself because I do have a stellium in Sagittarius. If I worked a full-time job, I have been employed. I'm self-employed, but if I had been employed in a company, okay, but I am a gamer. That's a hobby of mine, and I game up until, let's say, 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I go at work and I just can't do my job, right? That is an issue. That is a lack of compatibility. And so I have to change. I have to give up gaming in order to be good at my job, because the good news is that things can work out. We do have the Ace of Pentacles at the last position. That is what helps us. And the Ace of Pentacles helps through giving maybe the very last chance. I don't like to believe so, but it could be that. The last opportunity to further your goal, to be successful at your work, to be happy at, in your love life. But an effort with the death card, which is the environment, it is required to give up on something, because things are in flux in your life, and they have to change. You may have to give up a diet, you may have to give up a lazy life, for example, or you may have to give up a mindset. But if you want things to work out, I don't know what you are after, but in general, if you do want things to work out, you have to give up on something. And that is also engraved here with the Page of Cups, where if you find yourself being emotionally attached to an enterprise, to a project, or to a person, if you will, and I don't personally preach that to myself, at least, but that is how the Page of Cups works. You are emotionally attached to something, then you have to change your position, so to speak, or concepts according to the thing you are attached to. So you have to align with the job, you have to align with, say, the hobby, with the enterprise, or unfortunately with the person preferences. Which is, again, something I do not advocate, but that is within the cards. Because at the end of the day, if someone doesn't like you for who you are, then there is no point being together. And unfortunately, the Magician into the second position means exactly that it is unlikely the person you meet throughout the next couple of weeks will like you for who you are. And even if they show so, they will still want something within you to change, which is going to be a huge problem in the future. So if you want things to work out, that must change. So you gotta give way into it. All right, Capricorn. Knight of Cups. Nine of Swords. Seven of Pentacles. Page of Swords. Four of Pentacles. It's about an effort. It's about an effort. Long story short here is that the lunar eclipse will negate, I'm sorry, any chances. So I mean that there won't be any randomness into things, for you at the very least, Capricorn, and thus everything is going to be measured based on your efforts. And if you do make efforts, you do have all that it is required, so to speak, in order to ensure a certain future. The future of your business, the future of your love life, the future of your friendships, just you name it, whatever you do desire, but it's not going to work out on its own. For example, say, and that is an answer to the trivial question, is she or he going to call me? No, you will have to be the one who calls, because everything is going to be measured on your own effort. Okay, is he or she gonna call me? That's a chance, and chance is not gonna be a factor, is not going to be a thing for you within those couple of weeks. So the problem is consequences, or the imagination of such. What I mean, it is that because you will have to be the, let's say that you will have to make a move here, your imagination could kind of like over exaggerate consequences, and thus you may find yourself being scared, being ossified to make a move here and there, or about one or another thing. So, well, that is a bad advice here, but it is from the cards. Again, a huge note that in reality, there is nothing to be afraid of, because if you don't do anything or you don't say anything, the answer is always going to be no about the job, about the opportunity, about the project, about the relationship. So what those cards are suggesting is to sit for the next couple of days and decide, how much do you want to invest? How much do you want to invest in your business? And under investment, I don't mean just only money. I'm talking about also attitude. I'm talking about also skill, time, devotion, and you name it. So how much you want to invest? Because your result, at least for the next couple of weeks, is going to be reciprocal to your investment. If you don't invest anything, well, then you are going to get exactly nothing, a whole lot of it. So make up your mind how you wish your future with something or with someone to be consolidated, to be sealed, and then invest it appropriately toward it. If you don't want to have any future, then you don't do anything. But if you do want to have a solid future, then a solid efforts are required. From you, that is. All right, Aquarius. The Hierophant? The Hermit. I'm sorry. That's not the Hierophant. It is the Hermit. The Star. The Chariot. The Hierophant. The Ace of Pentacles. It's pretty easy interpretation. So I'll try to go about with an example. Okay. So let's say that's our subject is working in a company and is plighted by numerous difficulties throughout their work. It is just the project aren't going forward. The attitude with or the relationship with the colleagues is terrible. Everybody is kind of like taking him for or her for a joke, and it's just nothing is going their way. And following, that experience, it's normal that person to want to change the job, right? To want to kind of like walk away. Well, that solar eclipse, or rather like lunar eclipse, I'm sorry, is going to prove to that individual, following our example, that this is just kind of like running away, because the next job is going to be the same and then the same and then the same until that person stands for what he believes in. And I'm not saying fight for it, but rather make it known, mobilize, put into the iron, or rather like put the iron will and determination into the mix. Because in that field, until you guys stand for yourself, the odds are always going to be stacked for you. And that is the important conclusion that you are going to understand, that it isn't about the job that deprives you of the opportunity to be successful and lucrative. Okay. It is, how can I put it into words? I don't want to say even it is you. It's more the lack of conviction in your beliefs. And that's why we do have all these major arcana here, because that's the moment where you gotta believe, or rather like you gotta put into, oh my god, I don't know how to explain it. These couple of weeks are the weeks where the moments will require from you well to kind of like stick to what you believe in, despite how difficult it is. And once you do, then you will see a way through. Then you will see how you can become important, if nothing else, within the job you're working, rather than having to change it for I don't know which time. Or as well important within the relationship you are in, instead of kind of like breaking it and going for the other one or the another one, right? Bottom line here, according to these cards, Aquarius, it is that in everything you are in currently, you do have all that it is required in order to be content and fulfilled. It's just, according to these cards, you are looking at the wrong way. So no matter how much you change, until you look at it in the right way, it's going to be all the same. And will, guys, I mean, will is very important. The will to prevail is something that it will be mandatory for you to exert in those couple of days. It's quite complicated reading for Aquarius here. Basically, first thing you need to do is stick to what you believe is important for you. and try to find it within the enterprises you already are currently part of, rather than constantly changing them. If you can find it there, then you fight for it. All right. Last but not least, Pisces. Ace of Swords, the Fool, the Magician, Page of Cups, the Emperor. So this eclipse could involve denial. And under denial, I mean you may be denied. Like you may be denied the job, you may be denied the project. But this denial isn't going to be something permanent, because should you be denied, at least according to the cards, it will be communicated very clearly to you what is required of thee, and also probably as well the time frame under which you will have to fulfill those demands. Now, should you fulfill the demands or not, it is entirely up to you. And the denial comes from these two cards. I mean, the Ace of Swords and the Fool, which is on the second position that we do have. Of course, the other three are also playing a role determining the denial. But bottom line, this is what happens here. It is that this lunar eclipse is going to put a huge light on the situations you are in, and the true diagnosis is going to be revealed. And the true diagnosis is going to be a no-go, either through a conversation, either through a personal insight, or you seeking the truth, reading about it. Doesn't matter. It is just when you kind of like learn the whole thing about it, you will see that things cannot work out in its current state. It just cannot go forward. And that is why I think that it could be a denial for now. Okay, so two things it is important that you do learn from all that. Now, one is that everything can change with time, okay? And just because you are denied right now, or the situation is denied to work out right now, doesn't mean that that cannot change. That is first thing. And second, it is that it is important to be more fixed on the overview rather than on the current details. And once you do adopt that, say, position, okay, can I put it into words? It's selection. Your selection will become more accurate, and under a selection, I mean selection of timing, selection of resources, selection of skills as well, and selection of presentation, how to present yourself in front of your boss, colleagues, social circle, and you name it. And this presentation is going to be a presentation of a person who is done with the bullshit, right? A person who is strong, reliable, and capable to face the ups and downs of the day-to-day routine or of a whatever life throws their way with no problem whatsoever. And as well, a person who values their personal time. And if nothing else, of course, this is going to breed a respect and bit by bit. I can't say that it's going to be all of a sudden. It could be, but you know, I can't guarantee that. So I'm going to say bit by bit that denial is going to weaken, and eventually the opportunity will be presented to you in pure. And that is for Pisces. So that was the reading for the 12 star signs. And now the super chat readings. Anyone who supported, and if you do decide, guys, as well, if you do wish, you can support it in the next few minutes as well while I'm doing the reading, the channel. I mean, you're going to have reading right now in the super chat time, and the first that is going to have the reading, that is Yasmin. All right, Yasmin. Those are cards. We have the Ace of Cups here. Okay, so the Ace of Cups. The Six of Swords, Knight of Cups, Nine of Swords, and the Chariot. I very seldom speak those words. Pisces Moonbeam knows that. But this, or rather like the lunar eclipse, is going to present you with a wish fulfillment. There are a few requirements though, okay? One of the requirements is fear or the lack thereof. So what happens it is that certainly, or all of a sudden, so to speak, you will have a change of circumstances that will allow you to make that wish fulfillment. And the first thing that's gonna come up to your mind is, what does your actions, which are directed to that wish fulfillment, is going to cause overall? And you will be, my point here, Yasmin, is that you are going to be more prone to look and believe into the doom and gloom. Okay. For example, you may wish to go on a vacation, and through a impending change, that wish can be granted. But then you may think of that you are going to kind of like fall behind at work, and your client may lose money, you know, and all the follow-up consequences of the fulfillment of that wish. Over exaggerated. According to these cards, you gotta learn that until things doesn't happen, there is nothing to be afraid of. And the guidance of these cards, it is that you need to follow your dream. Now is your time to follow your dream, and you should do so. This wish fulfillment is going to be at arid field of your life. What I mean is field that there is no movement, there is no improvement, and actually it's a DOA. So if you, for example, if you haven't taken a break for a very, very long time and you just forgot even to think about it, that is where it happens for you. All right. Next, Nancy Solorio. I think you want a love reading. Okay. All right, Nancy, those are cards. And if you are in a relationship, it's actually more uncomfortable if you aren't. Because according to these cards, if you are in a relationship, a challenger, a challenger, and it could be a challenger towards you. What I mean is that that could be person who chases you and wants to be with you rather than a person who wants to be with your spouse or significant one. So that also could be a version. Bottom line here is that we do have a challenger. Something has what something wants what you have, which is a relationship, right? So that is if you are in a relationship. And here, should that be the case for you? Not in one. Okay. So we are omitting this interpretation. You aren't in a relationship and your ways are going to be disputed. What I mean, it is that there is an individual around you. We can see that with the King of Pentacles at the last position. And this one will try to, I would say, guilt trip you. Okay, guilt trip you in order to loosen up your influence, because according to these cards, the influence is big. Okay, the influence is big, and can I explain that? Well, this is what those cards are showing. Okay, Nancy, within your love life currently, as the circumstances presents, whatever you say, go. And that is something you need to learn. But also, going forward with whatever you say, go bears a certain consequences, and those consequences may imply guilt. This is what people will try to use against you. So in terms of your love life, you got to be very careful when and how you make your move. Now, in the topic of the lunar eclipse here, within these couple of weeks, you will end up with the most favorable circumstances possible in order to completely negate whatever negative consequences your actions or your words may inflict. Therefore, there will be no consequences, and therefore you cannot be guilt tripped. Okay? And another thing it is that your own personal presumption of a failure as well is going to be somewhat an obstruction, and you have an opportunity for those couple of weeks to heal from it, to see that yeah, things didn't work out beforehand, but they can work now, and you can heal from a past failures in your love life. And lastly, what I'm going to say, and you may find it hard to believe, but it is possible people to fight for you, okay? Want to try to convince you not to go with the other because they are more worthy. And those who are presenting themselves, or rather like talking about themselves more worthy, are actually the one who are unworthy, at least according to these cards. That should be something like a guidance. But these couple of weeks, or your current stage in love life, should be the stage where you do not cave under pressure of demands from you to be changed. Other than that, if you are wondering is there is someone around you, there is always someone around everyone, but personally towards you, yes, and that person is visible. What I mean is that they are gonna, or they are making themselves known. Right, Anna. You're welcome, Nancy. Cheers. It's a coffee, but still, that is the only different thing that I'm drinking aside from water. So, all right. Here, these are your cards, Anna. And I'm gonna start with the bad news, just like I did with one of the star sign. But the bad news here is neglect. Okay. You may end up neglecting some important details, whether about your job or about your life. The reason why within those couple of weeks you may start neglecting certain important details out there is a pleasure. It's just this lunar eclipse will allow you to kind of like, can I put it into words? Have a good time, okay? Just experience pleasure into things you're doing, pleasure at work, pleasure at your personal time, pleasure with a people around you. And the more this is offered, the more will become, I don't want to say fixation, but the more is going to come to become a goal, to have a pleasure, to go out with people that you are pleased with, you know, that you like emotionally and physically, to do things that you enjoy rather than to do chores, and so on and so forth. And this is exactly what is going to cause the neglect itself. But this state, it's not going to be the end of the world. It is only a neglect because you put the, how can I put it into words? The importance over those details, and that's going to be a lesson that you need to learn. One thing is just as much as important as you make it so. That is going to be a huge and big lesson. You know, that person is just as important to your life as you make it so. And if you don't like that individual, they don't have to be important for your life. That is just an example here, Anna. And the reason why you will be able to enjoy yourself for the most part those couple of weeks, it is that because whatever you are concerned of or you are seeing as a problem is not going to be a factor. It just is not going to have influence over you for those couple of weeks. So you will have a really, really, really good time. All right, Taco, let's see what you have, mate. Taco is a conclusion. This full moon is gonna a lunar eclipse is gonna bring you closure. It's gonna bring you, yeah, it is a closure, I believe. Those are cards we have for you, and it's not like a closure like the end of the road. It's more like a closure of a wandering around. For example, you may wander around how to go about a certain thing, and it's a closure of that wandering around. So it's like finding a way how to manifest. It's a closure of what to do next. That is the closure that you are going to have. And thus, after this closure is done, then the perspective unravels and unfolds in front of you. So this lunar eclipse is going to, how can I put it into words? To make use, or rather like to make do of your ability to prevail and the understanding into the human nature. What I mean, it is that throughout these couple of weeks, you can make people fulfilled. So you can live up to whatever the expectations they do have, knowing their weaknesses and their strengths, and therefore you cannot be denied. That's one way how you can actually find a way through, right? But also, whatever the predicament you may face throughout the week, you will immediately gonna know the answer. And that is also going to contribute to the closure, knowing what to do from now on moving forward. Now, should you do it or not, entirely up to you, mate. But bottom line, it is that not knowing how to go forward, whether with the family issues, whether with, you know, job, money making, love life, whatever the case, or I don't know, improving your personal life, is going to be over. You will have your answers about that. And I'm going to start with the bad news. The answer is going to be that, or part of the answer is going to be that, you know, no one can do it instead of you. So that is something you will have to kind of like toil for yourself. We can see that within these two cards here. Okay, 3 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles being into the second and the third position of that particular spread. The good news, it is that you can reach full completion. I mean, it can be as big as it can be, right? So you have no boundaries rather than the acceptable boundaries of the endeavor itself. What I mean here is that if that's about you being rich, you can be as rich as having all the money in the world, right? Or successful as one can be within this world, or as healthy as one can be in this world. Okay, so it's a breakthrough, Taco, but it's a breakthrough based on your own personal efforts here. And needless to say that denial is something that, you know, can hold you back, because you kind of like understand what it is required and still deny that understanding. That is also something that can hold you back. All right, astrology H. You're welcome, mate. All right. These are the cards. 8 of Cups, 4 of Cups, Judgment, 4 of Pentacles, King of Cups to the King of Cups, 3 of Pentacles. It's support or help, offer for support or help. Offer that you are gonna take for something else or for not what it is. What I mean is that entity or an individual, astrology is going to approach you with an offer to support you through what you are in what you are going through, or to help you in what you are going through. And at first, you will take it with a huge bag of salt. or rather there is the first thing that is going to go through your mind according to this card is that there is something surreptitious in it. There isn't. That is an offer that there is no reason whatsoever for you to pretty much deny it. The offer itself is not going to be fulfilling though. What I mean is that you would wish to be something bigger. For example, let's say you need a job, okay? And a familiar of yours or someone that knows you offers you such, but it offers you a job that it is kind of like so-so. They tell you, let's try that thing out, and if it works, then we can go to actually the cream of the cake, so to speak. So even though this support is going to come about, you still are not going to find yourself being very fulfilled from it. But that's going to change into the future. So for now, you accept that help, or at least that is the guidance of the cards. You do accept that help because the prospects of it or through it are far bigger. This could be an offer for a can I put it into words, if you will, a friendship that is very prominent. In fact, say you like someone and they offer you to be just a friends, okay? And while you are going to get closer to that person, it's still not the offer you wanted, right? And you may be disappointed by that. But this friendship, it could change. And you should look at that offer as an opportunity to show that person how compatible you are with them and how good of a relationship you can have, rather than to accept it as a setback. That's the point of the cards, of the tarot cards here. Or rather, you should look at this offer as your way in, whether your way in the career field, or your way into the job, or the way into the social circle, or the way into the heart of someone. Now, this is just a way in, it is not a way through. At the way through, well, you have to clear it out yourself. And that is what the lunar eclipse is gonna bring you, Astrology H, a way in. Hopefully you are gonna make a good use of it. So with that said, guys, this is going to be for tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your generosity. And we're gonna see each other next Thursday. I'm gonna skip a live stream because few personal stuff here, so there won't be a live stream at Sunday and Monday, but we're gonna see each other next Thursday. And until then,